Scorpio, this is going to be your October reading for 2018. And so I'm going to do an 11 card Celtic Cross spread for Scorpio rising, sun, and moon for October 2018. This is your general reading, you guys. If you have more specific questions about love or money, you may want to check out your other reading that's on my channel if you haven't seen that already. And so, this is in Scorpio's best, highest good, along with whatever they most need to hear about. And we'll see what comes out for October. Happy birthday, by the way, if you happen to have a birthday at the end of October. If you're sun sign Scorpio. I don't know about you guys. I suspect you feel the same way about fall that I do. I have a Scorpio moon. I love autumn. Autumn's my favorite season. Halloween's my favorite holiday. I hope you guys are enjoying autumn. And we'll see what comes out for you. This month, as a special treat, I'm going to be using a very special deck for your clarifiers. It's called the Flower Speaks deck, and it's by a woman named Marlena Rudzinski. It's actually an extremely rare deck. I've never seen anyone else have this deck. She gave the deck to me herself. I met her years and years ago, maybe 14 or 15 years ago at a psychic fair somewhere on the East Coast. I can't remember what state it was, but it was a tiny little psychic fair, and she was selling flower essences at the psychic fair. Her deck that I'm going to be shortly showing you after I pick your cards is an interesting combination of tarot, the tarot system mixed in with a system of her own, and each card has a animal totem, a flower essence, and has astrological associations with it. So it's astrology, animals, and flowers, which I love this deck. But for now, I'm going to be picking your regular cards from the spiral deck, which I'm sure you've probably seen before, maybe on other readers' channels. So Scorpio for October. Okay, here we go. I'm going to pick your cards, and then I'll show them, the 11 to you, and then I'll pick your clarifiers and get started. This is always the most boring part, and so if this is just too much for you, feel free to skip ahead if you're still here. Okay. These are some interesting cards. Makes me wonder what's going on with you guys, or who's watching. Okay. Thank you for being patient. Here, I'm going to adjust this up just a little bit so I can move around without cutting my head off. And bring these closer. Okay. Here are your 11 cards. Your central experience for the month of October is the 9 of Wands. Your countering experience or challenge to that is the Princess of Swords. What is helping you or hindering you, I guess I'll have to pick some clarifiers, is the Queen of Wands. At your core of your being, this is interesting. You have the Tower. So I guess we'll find out what that's all about. In your recent past, you have the Moon. As your best possible outcome, you have the High Priestess. Coming up for you in the near future, I will definitely be picking clarifiers to go with this. You have the Two of Swords. You right now are the Ace of Pentacles. In your surroundings, there is justice. I believe you got justice in your other reading for October. You may want to check that one out too. This is interesting to me. Your hopes are the Four of Wands, and your general outcome is the Chariot. So let's see, out of 11, you have 5 major arcana cards in this reading, so this must be a pretty large cycle for you, or a big deal. Okay, this is the deck I was talking about. This is called The Flower Speaks, and the major arcana cards are in here, but the minor ones are not. She came up with her own system for the minor cards. But as you can see, oh, look at what you have down on the bottom for yourself. You have transition, and this is called Angelica. This is about angels, guides, and protection from the spirit realm while you're going through a major transition. And it seems like you are going through a major transition because you have the Tower at your root. So I guess we'll see what this is about. I'm going to shuffle these and pick your clarifiers, and then I'll start interpreting. Thank you for being patient if you're even still here. Okay. Here we go. I'm going to pick your clarifiers now. Like I said, this is the most boring part. You'll have to excuse me. I'm just focusing in on your reading to try to get some more information. Excuse me. Oh. Okay. I had to pull a whole lot of clarifiers in order to try to narrow this down to a concise story I can tell you. Because there are so many major things going on in here, it's hard to get it narrowed down a little bit. Okay, I'm going to take a quick break to check up on my puppy for a minute, and I shall be right back with your actual reading. Okay, here we go. Finally, your central experience for October seems to be about standing up for something or leading something. Your clarifier to go with this card is called Leadership, and this is actually the Sun card in this deck. The flower that it belongs to is obviously the sunflower. You guys have had a real emphasis of leonine energy or sun energy going on in your readings for quite some months, I think ever since I started the channel. So this seems to be an ongoing theme for the Scorpionic collective, is standing up for what you believe in, or standing up for something, or being loud and clear about where your stance is concerning something, or even things like actual organizing or leading something involving groups or other people. This can even just be putting yourself on display for other people to see you. And the ongoing theme so far seems to be about coming out of the depths in order to be seen, when normally you guys are pretty private people and normally don't feel very comfortable underneath spotlights. But this seems to be something that you care a great deal about. I don't know if maybe perhaps for some of you this has to do with activism. If it does have to do with activism, this has to do with the rights of possibly children or protecting children. I'm getting something really strongly in here about this. Or speaking up about this, being a spokesperson for this, or outing this. This is also about wrapping up an old cycle involving actions that you have taken already, and getting to a place with this where you've experienced enough, of this process where now you feel fairly confident about what you're doing. Maybe in the beginning you were a little unsure or a little shy or a little bit anxious about this whole putting yourself out there thing. But it's getting to a point now where you're feeling more comfortable with this role. And you're getting the hang of it, in other words. You're feeling confident, you believe in your own abilities. I'm definitely getting a strong feeling of that you have to stand up for this, or you have to do this. This is perhaps something that you have felt very strongly about for a long time, and now you're at a point where you want to do something about this, or you have been doing something about this. This can even be just simply following your own creativity or following your own talents and putting your talents out there where other people can see it. And perhaps to be a guide or a leader or a person who shows the way for other people to be able to follow that are on a similar page with whatever this is. I'm getting messages of creativity, things that are fun and joyful, and also things that you feel extremely strong about, especially when it comes to defending or speaking up on the behalf of possibly children, or a general feeling of wanting to stand up for people to be able to freely be themselves without feeling held back in any way. Okay, so let's move on. Your challenge to this situation is the Princess of Swords, which can mean so many different things that I pulled a clarifier to go with it to help me narrow it down a little bit on what this is saying. So your clarifier with this is called Redemption, and it's the Trillium flower. This is one of her minor cards, so this doesn't follow the tarot system at all. This is a completely different system that she came up with. But basically the Trillium flower is an early flower that arises at the very end of winter. The girl in the picture is supposed to be Persephone in this deck. This is Persephone rising up from the underworld. This is a very scorpionic card, the Redemption card. It's about coming back up to consciousness or the light after delving through some very deep, unconscious or underworldly things. Persephone goes down to join Hades, your ruler, Pluto, every fall, and comes back up from the underworld every spring to be with her mother. So this is about diving deep into your subconscious, into your own underworld, where all the ghosts, the skeletons, the memories, the secrets, all of the dark shadow side, things that our conscious mind needs to keep hidden for the most part so that we can function in the regular, everyday outer world. And so this is about rising, going down into the depths, walking through your own underworld, and then rising back up to the surface with a newfound feeling of being empowered because you have faced, acknowledged, integrated all of the things that you keep hidden from yourself, or the things that your conscious mind is usually unable to deal with. These can be old memories, old traumas. In this case, because this is in your challenged position, the challenged meaning of the Redemption card is about a feeling of a lack of empowerment or trying to be empowered and to come up out of the depths and renew and transmute old traumas and pains. But since this is in the challenged position, it may be saying that you are somehow either internally or externally still dealing with some kind of an abusive situation where you feel as though your power has been taken away. Because the Princess of Swords is a child in here, I'm specifically getting something about abuse from your own childhood that you have been trying to transmute and acknowledge and deal with and sift through so that you can rise out of this old pain in order to be empowered now. There may be a situation in here where you were disempowered as a child, or you were taught that you possibly weren't intelligent enough, or you had to deal with a great deal of verbal abuse, or even psychological abuse or mental manipulation of some kind. And so I feel as though you have been doing a lot of work, and this has been an ongoing thing for you that you have been dealing with or working through. This may have something to do with speaking up or getting information out there that you know, or getting information about something. And perhaps if you do have some old ghosts in your underworld, personal underworld, that have to do with not being able to speak, being silenced by other people, feeling as though you couldn't speak for yourself, or you weren't being listened to, something about this is rearing its head again. Just when you thought that you had fully worked through this, you're noticing possibly some things cropping up that still make you feel this way. And so you're trying your hardest to empower yourself and get through this so that you can start really speaking up about what you think, how you feel, and what needs to be said. Or even getting some kind of information that you need concerning something that perhaps you are in the dark about, or it hasn't come fully to the light of day yet. As in, you have a deep feeling about something, but it may not be able to be articulated at this point because you don't have enough information to back this feeling up. Something. But the trillium flower is one of the first flowers to come out of the snow at the end of winter. So it's about rebirth, or it's a particular kind of healing that most definitely belongs to the Scorpio archetype. It's a healing that comes through really going deep into your own personal underworld, or land of the dead, so to speak, the things that we thought were done, but something about them still lingers, and you're trying to figure out exactly what it is so that you can fully transmute it and release it and be able to be empowered, or feel more empowered, or be able to make conscious sense out of these things. So that's what is your challenge with this whole being able to stand up for yourself, being able to lead, being able to shine completely your light. It seems as though some of this has to do with communication, or feeling repressed with your communication, as in other people will not listen or something. We'll see. So what is helping you is the Queen of Wands, which is all about empowerment and is very similar to the first two cards that you have for your central experience. This is about standing tall, being empowered in yourself, knowing who you are and what you believe in and what you want to do, and knowing what to do. And also it can speak of protection. She's kind of like a mother lioness that protects her cubs with all of her power. Or you could think of this as being a mother moose or a mother bear, or any of those animals that are extremely protective of their young. And the reason why I'm saying this is because your clarifier to go with it is called foundation or root. And this is ruled by the moon, which has to do with your family lineage, your roots, your home, your family, your children, how you nurture yourself, your feelings, your very deep feelings. And if you notice, the roots are in the underworld. They're not above the surface, they're beneath the surface. They go very deep. And these emotions and this need to protect, you feel as though you need to protect your emotions, or you need to protect your children, or you need to protect your home or your safe place. If you think about the moon as ruling the home, or what the root is, how the plant nourishes itself. It's how it gets its food or its water. The roots are important to be healthy and strong in order for the plant to be able to make it in the outer world. It has to have ties to where it comes from, or ties to Mother Earth, or ties to the depths. But the moon rules things like emotional nourishment, and it's where we go. We go home to rest. We go home to eat our food. We go home to sleep. When we feel out of sorts, we tend to go home or go to our safe place. You could think of the moon as being your safe place. And this safe place doesn't necessarily have to be physically your home. This safe place could be a place within yourself. It's basically how you nourish yourself. And so I feel as though what is helping you is to be very protective and strong, especially concerning yourself and what your needs are, and your need to ensure that your safe place stays safe. or that your family or children are safe, or that the home is a peaceful, nurturing place where you and your loved ones can go to in order to get solace or feel safe. But something about this, what is helping you is to stand up for this safe place, or to make sure that this continues. To be a guardian of, you could also think of the moon as being a temple or a outdoor sanctuary, even a grove of trees that you like to go to in order to have silence or feel safe, or to go within to your own underworld. It's important for you to be proactive about making sure that you still have time to eat well, drink lots of water, have a place to go, whether it's your own home or someplace else where you feel safe and where you have silence and peace, so that you can get more in touch with yourself. I don't get that you've been out of touch with yourself, but you feel a great need to defend this area of your life that I'm talking about, and to stand up for it, or to make sure that the rules are set in place to make sure it stays safe. This can even possibly be land you're trying to protect, or trees that you're trying to protect, or water sources or food sources that you're trying to protect. This could even be a form of activism here, of caring for the environment, making sure that we have the resources that we need, or to protect a piece of land to keep it from being developed on, something. Protecting food, protecting water, something. Protecting children. You feel very strongly about this, and this is what is helping you, is you can totally do this. So, at your core, you have the Tower. And I had to pull a number of different clarifiers for this to help me narrow down on what the heck this Tower really is. And considering you don't have anything like this in the rest of your reading, and this happens to be at the root of your being, or at the core of your being, this is at the very bottom of your pillar. This is reminding me of the root card that I just showed you. This is your roots. You're feeling very protective of your roots, and this is what's helping you, is to defend your roots. But this is what's going on in your root, or at the core of your being. Certain things are crumbling internally within yourself. This may be old trauma or old things that you have experienced, or even possibly things you're experiencing now, for all I know, where you feel as though your safe place is being torn apart, or your underworld is in disarray or total chaos right now. It feels as though that for a period of time, maybe even longer than months, this could have been going on for possibly a year or longer, you possibly have been receiving messages from your subconscious or your own internal underworld through dreams, as in dreams that you dream while you're sleeping, through dreams, through intuitions, through even possible flashbacks of things. And for some reason, I'm getting that this reading is for the Scorpionic people that are extremely psychic. I mean, basically anyone who has any energy in Scorpio is psychic. But some Scorpios have more Scorpio energy in them than others. Other Scorpio people may have more planets in Libra than Scorpio. And so even though they may have one thing in Scorpio, they're not really super Scorpionic people, but I'm getting that this is for super Scorpionic people, if this is making any sense to you, that are extremely psychic and possibly in tune with the world or the planet as far as collective consciousness, collective subconsciousness, collective no, I'm getting more subconscious. There may even be flashbacks that you're getting that have nothing to do with this lifetime. It may have to do with other lifetimes. It may have to do with your family lineage's trauma. It may have to do with the world's trauma. And so you have been fed these things by spirit in a trickle over a certain period of time. As in, you were given little doses of these memories or this information or these visions or dreams from the collective subconscious or your own subconscious or both. And you've been fed certain doses of this in order to make sure that you can handle getting these things. But it's almost like there's been some kind of a crack where all of a sudden the barriers that were holding the rest of it back somehow crumble. Maybe they got weakened from it dripping slowly over time, where now it's gushing out, where it's coming out. And so it's a great deal to have to try to handle, but you can handle this. It's intense. It's very intense. I'm getting lots of strong emotions here that even Scorpio people can sometimes become overwhelmed by. We're the ones in the zodiac that can handle the most intense, painful things, besides maybe Capricorn, but Capricorn handles it by getting things done. We're the ones that actually look at these things in depth and try to figure them out or see what is actually happening here. But even this feels overwhelming for you guys a little bit. It may be that you started to receive memories in little bits, but then one day there's some kind of an internal crack and all the memories come spilling out. So I'm going to show you the clarifiers. I'm definitely getting that this reading has more to do with an internal journey rather than anything specifically external. It feels as though it's affecting things like relationships, friendships, goals, and how you want to go about feeling empowered enough to do what you feel drawn to do, or defend what you feel drawn to defend, or to manifest the abundance that you need, to believe in your own capabilities. And so this is the last bit of chaos that you are being given to filter through before you can fully break through this and get out onto the other side of empowerment so that you can fulfill this, whatever it is. Hopefully this isn't too vague and this is making sense to you guys. So these are your clarifiers to go with the Tower. You have devotion, there we go, devotion, the Easter lily. You have support, which is a stem. If you see the word stem right there, that's support. And then there's healing. This is a healing process. Even though it's extreme, it's hitting the most intense moment now. But you can totally handle this. It's just there may not be a whole lot of people around you that you can talk to in depth about these things that will completely understand what you're going through, except maybe another Scorpionic type person. But they're probably dealing with their own thing too and can't really. This is definitely an internal journey that you have to go on your own. So, but keep in mind what is helping you is to stay strong and be brave and have the personal power to be able to go through your roots or go through your own memories or underworld. You have it in you to do this, no problem. But it is a lot. It's very intense. So someone else got this card. I think it was Aries. So in the devotion card, which is Easter lily and also the dove and the pearl, notice this priestess. This is a priestess, by the way. This card is ruled by Vesta, the Vestal Virgin priestesses of ancient times in Greece, and even before the Greeks came along. So notice she is holding a pearl. This is about purification. This is about purifying the painful parts of yourself to soften them. So if you think of a clam or an oyster, occasionally, sometimes bits of sand or hard pieces of sand get stuck inside the shell, and the oyster or the clam is unable to get the piece out. And so its soft inner bits are so sensitive and soft that it's extremely painful to have that impurity stuck inside their shell with their deepest part of themselves. And so how it copes with this, since it can't shoot the piece of sand out, is it slowly over time coats it with this translucent iridescent material that's a liquid at first. It's kind of like mucus or something. It coats it and coats it and coats it with this iridescent smooth stuff until it turns into a pearl. Even though it can't get rid of the piece of sand, it's able to coat it in order to make it easier for it to live with the impurity that is stuck inside of them. And so this is a particular kind of healing that this is talking about, that says once you have experienced a trauma or a pain or something, that you can't, once you've experienced it, you can never completely get rid of that memory or get rid of that experience out of your being. But over time, you can coat it and soften it and purify what you can so that it is easily handled or dealt with or no longer hurts. It no longer hurts. It's still there, but it doesn't hurt anymore. It's been softened and purified. And it actually ends up becoming a beautiful jewel. And so this is about looking at the painful, possibly not so easy things within yourself, looking at them, acknowledging them, and also purifying these parts of yourself where they no longer hurt you or no longer torment you. And something about this has to do with support. Perhaps you feel as though you weren't supported, or even for some of you, you may have not been protected when you should have been protected, or you should have had moral support, emotional support, physical support, and perhaps you feel as though, or you haven't gotten that to the degree that you needed, where you felt like there was no one to turn to, or no one who understood, or no one who could help you. It's a feeling of helplessness. It's a feeling of being at the mercy of something painful or abusive, where you needed support, but perhaps you felt as though you didn't have it, or you didn't have a defender to protect you, which is why you're feeling so strongly now that you must protect, because you know exactly what that's like to not be acknowledged for what you've been through, or not have the support. You want to remedy this or heal this by getting active and doing this for others, even though you may have not gotten that for yourself. You want to ensure that no one else has to deal with this the way that you did. It's a very scorpionic feeling. And so this is a card that is ruled by the sun. I don't know if you can see the glyph for the sun down there. And this is reminding me of the sun card or the sunflower card as your central experience for this month. It feels as though in order to heal your own inner child that may have not felt safe in the past, what is helping you is to make sure that it's safe now. Possibly even for other people or other children or other people that are going through a similar experience. And so you can heal this wound that you carry by supporting others that are going through similar things, or by supporting yourself and also healing to the point where you realize you can have this support now. Not only can you support others, you can support yourself and you can get support now. You have support now. It's important for you to accept that. And this all has to do with healing. Even though it's intense and possibly is reactivating old pains all over again, It's necessary in order for you to fully get through these old ghosts or old skeletons, so that you can move beyond it and be able to be fully empowered now and be able to do what you feel drawn to do, either creatively or just with what you want to do with yourself and your life, or possibly even going into some form of activism. Gosh, this is a really specific sort of reading. I hope that this is making sense to you guys, or at least to a number of you. Hopefully I'm not the only one that relates to this. So yes, and part of this healing may have to do with being re-nurtured. In this, the plant that belongs to this card is lady's mantle, and lady's mantle is a medicinal plant that in olden times, when women had troubles with either childbirth or their moon times or periods, or just women's problems with needing to strengthen their wombs or strengthen the water systems in their body, they would go out at either dawn. Yeah, they would go out at dawn when the dew was still on the leaves, and they would twirl the leaves of this plant and sip the dew off of it, which was considered highly medicinal and cured all women's issues. And so this card in general has to do with healing, regardless of feminine or masculine traits, but it also has to do with feminine traits, which is reminding me of the moon card here, which is roots. This is where we go to feel safe. This is generally how we feel about the divine feminine, is that's where we go to feel safe. That's where we go to get nurtured and have emotional support and emotional comfort. When there may be some wounds in here with needing to be remothered or needing to be re-nurtured, or needing to do this for yourself now, and also to do this for others, to heal this old wound with the feminine. With perhaps you felt not only a lack of support, but you felt unnurtured or uncared for, or as if your sensitivities were not held by someone who was supposed to nurture you. This doesn't necessarily have to do with your mother, but it can, or any prominent woman in your life that was meant to be there to take care of you, emotionally speaking. There may be some wounds to do with this, or wounds about being a mother yourself, or about women in general too. That's one option here. I'm not saying that that's totally true for everyone, but that is something to be noted here, is you felt a lack of empowerment and support from external forces and possibly even protection, but you also may have felt as though you didn't have anywhere to turn when you really hurt. And so you need to be remothered and refathered now, where not only can you do these things for yourself, but you can attract people into your life that are these sorts of souls. You can attract extremely empowering, masculine archetype, strong people that have got your back, or energies that have got your back, and also being remothered in a way where you have the sensitivity, empathy, and care from others, as well as from yourself, for yourself, as well as part of this healing journey is about doing this for others, and that heals the part of you that felt as though you didn't have this, because now you are able to provide this and make sure this hurt doesn't continue in the world. Okay, let's move on. So in your recent past, you have the Moon card, which again has a lot to do with nurturing, emotional nurturing, empathy, the roots of the family lineage, family history. This most definitely has to do with the underworld as well, or the emotional body. There may be some secrets or some things you didn't know about, or some things you didn't remember that have been coming back in the form of dreams, possibly from your childhood or even from past lifetimes. If you happen to have had a pretty decent upbringing this lifetime around, this reading may be pointing more to things from past lifetimes or even global trauma that you are processing for the world or for other people. Because I'm most definitely getting this reading is for Scorpio people that are highly psychic or intuitive, or are becoming even more so now than ever before. And so you're having to filter and process very large, emotional, deep things. And so you may have had an emphasis on lucid dreams or memories coming back that you didn't even realize you had, or that you had even experienced. And part of this has been through your own initiative, where maybe you took some time out to go within, either meditate or go into a different... You know how people think of altered states as being connected to things like drugs or plant medicines that you take or ingest in order to go into an altered state? For people that are highly psychic or intuitive, they're in altered states all the time that are fluctuating all the time. They don't need drugs. They don't need plant medicines in order to go there. They're just already there. I'm getting that this is for those of you that naturally slip into altered states of consciousness or altered reality in seeing the unseen or feeling the unseen nature of life that is beyond the surface or beyond what is seen visibly. And so you may have been slipping into emotional states or altered states where you have received visions not just from sleeping at night, but also throughout the day, or just messages that have been coming to you. And maybe some of these messages have been confusing, where you weren't really sure exactly what they were trying to tell you, or what they had to do with, or where they were coming from, or even what they meant. But I feel as though this is something that has been slowly becoming more clear to you on what these messages actually have meant, or what the pieces are starting to come together. The height of the confusion over all of these visions, or whatever it is that you've been receiving, is in the past. I see things becoming clearer in the future, where you can get through, come out, back up to the upper world. You needed to go through this process in order to clear out some major stuff that's deep, deep within yourself, so that you can move forward fully in life. And so your best possible outcome is the High Priestess. And what I'm getting, again, this reading specifically this month is for those of you that are highly psychic. All Scorpionic people are psychic, but some of you may have this almost be a detriment at times with how intense it is at times on what you're receiving. And so your best possible outcome is to not think of what you get as being an illusion or not real. They literally really are trying to tell you something. What you are getting is accurate. And your clarifiers to go with this are abundance. You may be getting an abundance of messages or revelations or dreams or signs or gut feelings, or even just straight up psychic experiences. It's happening more frequently and to a greater degree than ever before. And a lot of this may even have to do with receiving messages from the collective subconscious of the planet, or of the human race, or of lots of global things that are going on. Not just personally, not just personal things. This is wounds that the earth has had to deal with over a very long period of time, or in our terms as human beings, has been going on for a very long time. And so you are getting better at grounding this out and being able to tell which things you are receiving that are collective and which things you are receiving that actually have to do with yourself, but perhaps you are realizing that they are one and the same. It's just the world stuff is to a greater degree. And also, your other clarifier is ideas. This is the Lover's card in this deck. By the way, this is the World card in this deck. And so you have experienced and done, you have experienced a lot. You have done a lot of inner work over possibly years or decades. And now you are graduating to a higher level of consciousness or a higher level of trusting what you get. And you're getting a lot more than before, including amazing ideas. And you have done a lot of work on balancing your masculine and feminine side of your nature, your rational mind and your intuitive psychic mind. They are in harmony with one another. And therefore your third eye may be activated even more than usual as your best possible outcome. This is kind of reminding me of this root card, which is ruled by the moon, and the stem card, which is ruled by the sun. The support card or the stem card is the solar masculine part of life, and the root here is the moon or the feminine aspect of life. Support or stem is about action and empowerment to be able to act, and the moon is about nourishment and emotional comfort and feeling strong and supported enough to be able to acknowledge your emotions, and feed others properly, where things are being nourished properly. This is a perfect balance of masculine and feminine, or the sun and the moon, which is reminding me of this Lover's card, ideas. Because you are doing a lot of healing work on both of these sides of your nature, you are coming up with amazing insights. And if you follow these insights, you could possibly bring something very valuable out, not only for yourself, but for others as well, and be able to start making more sense out of these things. So that is your best possible outcome, is to trust this process and believe it. Believe this process. This really is happening. You already know this. I'm just reminding you or backing that up for you. So your psychic abilities may be enhancing, increasing, and becoming more and more clear on what they're telling you. So in the future, you are undecided about something. You're not sure how to move forward with this. And I'm getting something specific in here. This is the first message in here that really has to do with anything in your life, instead of this internal journey you're dealing with or going through. One specific message I'm getting in here. And this may be one of the reasons on why you are delving so deep and really getting such a clear, deep look into these things, is because you have met your soul tribe or your soul group or a soul mate. Memory, this card, Forget Me Not, has to do with the story of this card is about how before we incarnate into our lives, all of our past life memories are wiped away so that we have a clean slate, so that we are not immediately overwhelmed or driven crazy by the things that we have experienced in past lifetimes. Sometimes I think this is a test, when our memories are all taken away and we begin totally like little newborns where we don't remember a single thing of our soul journey or what our soul came here to do or what the heck is going on, or even that we have been here before or known certain souls before. But forget-me-not is kind of like an awakening from a state of amnesia, where all of a sudden things start making more sense. You start noticing connections in things. You start remembering your past lifetimes. You start remembering your soul's purpose that you came here to fulfill. Things you start to remember. You start to come out of the feeling of being in a state of amnesia. And this can oftentimes be triggered by stumbling across or running into soulmates, people that we have known before in other lifetimes, where we have a similar soul path or a similar purpose that we came here to fulfill. And this is how we help each other remember. When somebody has lost a certain amount of consciousness or they can't remember certain spiritual things, they will run into someone who's a soulmate who helps them remember those things. When that person that helped that person remember, when they go through a period of amnesia and they start to forget, someone else comes along to remind them. And this is how we remind each other. This also has to do not just with soulmates, as in lovers or partners that are dear soulmates that we have known before. This is also about soul groups or soul family, where we came here to back each other up and help each other with our life's purpose or life's mission, or we have a similar mission that we all came here to fulfill together, regardless of our little detailed descriptions of what we came here to carry out. Or even just a simple feeling of that there's more to life than meets the eye, and there's meaning in this or purpose in this. This is happening for a reason. So I see you as instantly recognizing either a person or remembering a purpose or remembering your own soul or remembering a past lifetime or something that is awakening you and bringing you back to who your soul is or was before you forgot everything. Something about this is making you feel undecided, which leads me to the next card, which is desire. This is the Empress in this deck. In this case, this has to do with deep love or even deep attraction for someone else. Someone that you feel is an important person in your life. This could be a true love. But here you go again. This is this deck's version of the High Priestess. This is the second High Priestess you've gotten. So this best possible outcome of grounding out and receiving amazing ideas from your psychic abilities or your intuitive abilities. Something about this feeling of indecision is being brought on by a deep feeling that you have. And it may be hard for you to determine whether or not this is actual warning bells concerning someone that is a soulmate, or whether this is coming from inside of yourself and it doesn't have to do with the soulmate. But I am getting something in here that talks about you feel very drawn to someone that perhaps may be a soulmate, but something about this person is making you not sure if you can trust them or not, or believe your perceptions about this person, because you kind of have this feeling perhaps that they're not to be trusted, or it's a very painful, torn feeling I'm getting. That's you feel very strongly or deeply about someone that you're convinced is a soulmate or a close soul to your soul, but something about this is making you get warning bells or feel uncertain on what this person's intentions are or whether or not you're seeing them clearly. That could be one option here, is that you're getting a clear message that something is off about this person, even though you care a great deal about them. And this is why you're feeling so torn about this, is because you are intertwined with this person on a spirit level. And so it's not easy for you to untangle your connection from this person, but something doesn't feel quite right about them, or you're not sure if you're seeing this person clearly or not. You're afraid that they may turn out to be something different from what you thought, or there's some kind of thing hidden deep within them that is making you feel warning bells, or making you feel as though you may not be able to completely trust this person. Or it could be saying that that is a fear, and you're having a hard time deciding or figuring out whether this is an actual thing that you are receiving about this person, or whether it is being triggered in you by past experiences of being wounded or hurt, or having people betray you or abuse you or wound you in some way. And so let me see if I can pull a clarifier to help me figure this out. I'm reluctant to say this because I don't want you guys to get carried away, but it is possible for some of you that this may actually be going on, and that you may want to be careful around this person because there's things that are hidden about them. But also I'm getting that there are others of you where this is coming from a place within yourself, and it's not actually in reality concerning this person. So I can't really tell you whether or not this is actually happening, on where these feelings that you're having are coming from, because it's tricky for me to figure out. For some of you, this might actually be happening. For some people, this may be coming from a place of hurt within yourself that's making you feel unsure. So I can't really tell. But your best possible outcome in here is to trust your intuition. So I would say just trust your intuition and take your time. And if this doesn't have to do with a person, you may have recently or in the future become fully awakened to whatever it is that you feel drawn to do, or your soul's purpose, or something that means a great deal to you that you are remembering now, that you want to go towards and grow and cultivate in your life, whether this is a relationship or a purpose or a goal that you have, or something you're trying to do, or something you're trying to protect, or something that you're trying to lead, or just simply express. And you care a great deal about this, and you have a great deal of passion for this. And your intuition is telling you to bring this into being or take action on this. But for whatever reasons, you are feeling unsure or torn, or you feel unable to move forward because possibly you need a little bit more information still, or there are old pains that are getting in the way of you feeling as though you can actually do this or fulfill this. But right now, you are the Ace of Pentacles, so you are able to create now. You are in touch with what you want to create and what you would like to see grow in the future. Whatever this goal is that you have or thing you would like to get started with is very tangible, and it may have to do with something that you feel drawn to do in the outer world, as far as a mission or a career or a job or a goal, or something you want to manifest, whether it's a home, land, a place, a center, feeling strong in yourself, being able to begin any new concrete process that you want to begin with, and also to begin to grow, abundance or more money in your life to be able to fund these ideas that you have, these brilliant ideas. And keep in mind, you have abundance as one of the cards as your best possible outcome. So if you're looking to create something, you will be able to create it, and it will do extremely well, especially since this means a great deal to you. Support, this is reminding me of the support card, and reminding me of the root card, because this tree has to be supported by some very strong roots that go very deep. But I feel that you are strong enough and you are fully capable to be able to do this, whatever it is. In your surroundings, you have justice, which is kind of reminding me of a feeling in here of activism, or wanting to do something about something that perhaps you feel is not right or is not just. You want justice in your surroundings. You want to see justice at play, not only in your own life, but in the world as well. You may be feeling drawn more towards making sure that things are just. Interesting. If in your surroundings you have felt as though things have been unfair in the past, I see them as becoming fair or becoming righted. And this is also how you should be approaching your surroundings, is the law of cause and effect. What you put out, you get back. As long as you are being honest, just, forthright, and pure about what you care about, justice will be done, justice will be served, and you will have a good, even outing? Something. You will out things? That's something that just flew by. Justice will be done. You will receive your just outcome. Your hope is that whatever this project or idea or mission or cause or thing that you want to get started with, whether it's a relationship, or I'm getting something in here about feeling very motivated to get something done, or to speak up for something, or to be more active with something. But whatever this is, your hope is that it will get off to a good start and continue to be stable and continue to be grown and worked on and added to, and that it will grow in a stable way. It's not being taken away or going anywhere. Your general outcome is pretty powerful. You have the Chariot, which is all about moving forward towards your goals, knowing exactly what your goals are and where you're trying to go, and then reining in your personal power to take yourself there. It's all about motivation, moving forward, and going towards your goals. And staying focused on what you're trying to do, as well as listening to your own intuition about how to go about doing this. And then next to it, you have action, which in this card is Tiger Lily, which is all about that, exactly that. Activism, taking action, doing something. I'm getting that you're thinking about or about to, or you're already doing something quite bold that takes a great deal of bravery. And it's motivated by a very strong sense of right and wrong, and wanting to see that things get done, and having enough energy to lead and to get these things done. This is reminding me of the Sunflower card here, along with the 9 of Wands, of being bold, being brave, taking action, not letting old wounds stop you. And part of needing to move forward, or going about moving forward and taking action on this, and finally just going for it and doing it all the way. This involves trusting your intuition as your best possible outcome, and moving towards your great ideas, which can bring about abundance and where you have fully graduated this whole long, intense journey that you have been on that has to do with sifting through your own underworld, which I'm getting the feeling this has been going on for years, but it's coming to a head now. And this is the moment. This is the moment where this is your chance to do something and to move forward and to heal so that you can do something extremely meaningful. Okay, you guys, that was an extremely intense, in-depth reading. Hopefully it made sense to you. And I wish you all the best. Many blessings to you. I've got your back. I'm sending you some major hardcore support. I'm a Leo with a Scorpio moon. This is my card. This is my card. I fully, with all of my solar power, completely support you, and I'm sending you massive amounts of wonderful energy to help you or to back you up and give you backup in this so that you don't feel completely alone in this process. You're so, pardon me for swearing, you are so badass, you can handle all this on your own, but I feel as though you need the extra support, even just for moral support or to feel supported. So I fully support you.